Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Unknown Mysteries. I'm your host, Layla Johnson. So let's jump into our episode for today. We're going to be talking about, the cusp of Power Rangers, how they live, how formal actors have been plunging by brutal murders, domestic violence, and suicide and fraud. First, we're going to talk about a former Power Ranger called Ricardo Medina Jr., admitting to killing his roommate with a sword. Ricardo faced 6 years in prison for verbal manslaughter. In January 2015, Ricardo had argued with his roommate, a 36-year-old Joshua Smith, over Ricardo's girlfriend on July 31st, 2015. On his way, Ricardo's girlfriend had parked her car minutes before the stabbing in Los Angeles, California house. The argument became physical. Jonathan forced his way into Ricardo's room after him and Jonathan had come to blows in another part of the house. The actor locked his room door and his girlfriend inside with him to get away from Josh. Mr. Josh broke through the door and charged at Mr. Messino. So Mr. Messino grabbed a sword he kept by the door and stabbed him, Josh, several times before calling 911. Police said it was later confirmed that the sword was a large, double-edged sword, but Messino used it for protection, self-defense. And there was some evidence that Josh didn't want Messino's girlfriend over the house. The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department waited a year to charge Messino. So that's just one of the former Power Rangers we're going to talk about. Moving on to the next Power Ranger. Skylar Dillon was born on August 12th, 1979 in California, U.S. He changed his name twice. The first was before he got married, and an edge part from his father. At the time, he claimed that he was abused. He was abusing him. Then misfortune came into his life when he changed his name to Skylar Dillon. He had a small role in the Power Rangers where he had a short-lived success. After that, at the age of 20, he joined the U.S. Navy. After that, for unnecessary absences of 15 days, he was discharged. In 2002, he married and had 2 kids. Then the couple began to suffer from lack of money and decided to start a criminal, outbreak. At first, they robbed small businesses, but in 2004, when they met a couple who had a yacht for sale, both couples went for a test drive in Newport Beach Harbor. And then Dillon and his wife, appeared by 3 other accomplices, attacked the owners and forced them to relinquish their ownership of the boat. They then tied them up, threw them into the sea. The bodies were never found. Several years later, one of the accomplices confessed to the crime and began the lawsuit against Sky and his wife. Once in prison, Sky changed his name and gender. For several years now, his name has been Skylar Princeton Dillon. She also received hormonal therapy in order to achieve more feminine appearances. She was sentenced to death by lethal injection. However, due to the modifying in California, he will live out his life on death row. His wife received a life sentence without the possibility of parole. Next up, we're going to talk about Puma McGinnon, a former Power Ranger On December 18th, 2019, a named substance order was lifted, revealing that Puma McEdney has been the cause of domestic violence against his wife in April, 15 days before his death. Puma was sentenced to 70 hours of community service work and 6 months of supervision. Appears his widow doing a tell-all photo shoot after his death. He had engaged in regular patterns of abuse, cussing her 3 times and threatened to harm her, himself, and their daughter if she wanted to call the police. She claims to have later found out a diary belonging to him, showing pages full of haunting images, torment through of his self-loathing, and admitting that he had always been violent and angry. On May 11th, 2019, Puma Mendes died of a suicide in a hotel room in Wellston. His wife stated that he attacked her in a drunken rage that night he died. Oh, Lord. The next former Power Ranger we're going to be talking about is Austin John, facing a 20-year jail sentence after being accused of taking part in a $1 million fraud scheme. Jonathan accused conversion in a series to create a small business or using assistant ones to supply fraudulence to the small businesses, a mission to get back bank checks, protecting programs funds. It's alleged that the defense managed to offer 16 loans or more and at least $3.5 million. Since the incident, John has agreed to put on pre-trial release. He is only allowed to leave the state of Texas for work with the permission of the court. This includes his previous scheduling conference appearance. On May 25th, 2002, John released a video confirming these events as true and relating to his legal available to discuss his events at his entertainment-based public appearances. And last but not least, John David Frank has died at suicide at the age of 49. Tammy Frank is the wife, and also offers some small details about what happened where they were when they were staying at the country dance event. The hotel where Jason David Frank died, they got 2 separate rooms because Jason snored, she said. They had danced the night and stayed at the hotel bar until it closed. A noise complaint came earlier in the evening when sparked by the having fun and not fighting. As TMZ had reported, law enforcement sources told TMZ that the couple argued a second time and said Jason locked Tammy out of his room. Details dispute in the People interview. She said to Jason, "Relax, sober up before turning down to sleep. I went downstairs to get a couple of snacks from the lobby." Tammy Frank said, "I must have been gone no longer than 10 minutes. I went back upstairs and began knocking on his door. No answer. I knocked repeatedly. I kept calling for him to open the door." She said she wasn't sure to call the police, but officers told her downstairs that opening Jason Frank's hotel room, he was found dead. She gave no details about how he met his suicide. She said, "The truth is, I have no idea how Jason died. Was thinking about the ending." She said, "Yes, he had suffered with mental illness issues and depression before. I never predicted what happened that night." And that wraps up another episode. I hope y'all stay tuned for the next one. Bye, guys.